So you need a small base. Hold some farm, especially if it's another farm base. You don't want to get raided. Well, this isn't quite a 16 rocket farm base, but it is 8 rocket. And you can then transfer loot via vending machine if you're in the mood for that. And yes, you can build these live. It's not nearly as bad working live with a single high foundation because that's much easier. Flame trap makes this incredibly secure. That thing will seal the base in no time. One sleeping bag, one TC jammed up against this edge so that you can get around it. You can put several small boxes in here. You can put a large box in, but if you put a large box in, you're not going to be able to put the furnace in. And then you have access to your vending machine. That's the entire base. And yes, this can be a pain in the butt to get out of. Alright, let's build this bitch. One quite high foundation. Now again, you don't want these maximum height. You got to come down a tiny bit. And the recommendation here is build it someplace kind of flat, but you can raise and lower this. Like if you're on a bit of a slope, you can lower it a bit more and get away with it. Depending on what you got going on. Now you got to get down to ground level. And then the base is, and this is either direction. It's the triangle, it's the square, it is the triangle, triangle, triangle. That's the whole base. Now you probably could do that if you wanted. I don't actually particularly care. Some other tricky parts of this build. The TC has to go in second, but the vending machine has to go in first. And I say first, I mean before or after the roofs. So there is some order of operations here that's actually pretty important. So this roof you can put down. This roof you can put down. But these roofs you can't until after you put in your vending. Whoops. You can't put in this wall though. And then the recommendation over here is put in your sleeping bag, and I'm not exaggerating, all the way to the right, because your TC is going to want to go as close to that as you can reasonably get. Now that we got our wall in here, oh yeah, we got these in. Ooh, that was a minor miracle. There we go. So now we have a base that is complete. Oops, wrong direction. And some of the reasons here for this technique. So the high foundations, the way this bunker works is that walls do not connect to them. And the angled roofs, walls do not connect to those either. A little weird, but whatever, it's rust. The triangle plus the square allows you to actually get in and out. And then move around the base. Now you're never going to store much in this, but let me upgrade this thing. For an 8 rocket farm base, it's 164 frags a day. It's silly how cheap this is. One stone node or one metal node is 4 days. Upkeep, it's outrageous. And you still have, keep in mind, if you're doing farming, you have a TC plus a vending machine worth of loot already built into the base design. And it's just like I said, it's an alternate to the farm base. Yes, be prepared for this. Basically, the technique, for those of you who don't know how to transfer farm or transfer loot via vending machine, this is usually a multi-person job. Kind of doing the solo, you're really risking losing all your goodies. Because say this is full of stone because you want to build your compound. You come down here and you set up a trade. Let me go ahead and do this because I realize some people probably never actually use a vending machine like this. And you hold E and you hit administrate, and we are going to sell stones. For charcoal. 1,000 stones for 1 charcoal. That's a hell of a deal. If somebody sees this and they're obviously at Bandit or Outpost where they can use the drones, this is going to get sold instantly, assuming they have some charcoal. And you can do stuff that isn't charcoal, obviously. But that's basically how you set this trade up. And then the other end of it is somebody... Oh, that's right, I'm on Builders. Bandit here. Somebody at Bandit or at Outpost, then they're waiting for you to turn that on. They do the buy, and it may take a second. You turn your vending machine on. Usually they need to get out of the drone screen menu and then come back in, or at least wait a couple, because it takes a second for the game to process it. But then they buy all your goodies, and you can then do the opposite trade, which I guess I'll set up here as well. Is you can then, at your main base where you're going to build all of this goodies, you would have the inverse. You are selling charcoal, oops, not survey charges, charcoal for stones. I am barely awake again. And you just flip it. So at your home base, some idiot, no one's ever going to take you up on this. Not going to give you 1,000 stones for 1 charcoal, but that's okay because you're the idiot who's buying it. It makes sense. This one, though, is the one you got to be very careful on, because if somebody happens to spot this, like I said, if they've got charcoal in their inventory, they're buying it. But that's how you set it up. That's how you do it. It seems ridiculous, but I've had a few reasons to do this. One, I'm gaming on a laptop, and at least this last wipe, flying out of Bandit Camp, it was surrounded by so many large bases, and including one guy in particular who had 1 million auto turret pods. The lag was so intense that basically I can't fly a mini. Normally I love flying minis. Another reason for it is the farm base that I've got live right now is way off at the end of the universe. It's 20 grids away from any of our other bases. But it's deep in the snow where there's good farm, so I send it some potions, I do some farm runs. When it's stocked up, I do this trade to get it out. Just a way of using the game with what you've got. I hope that was helpful.